Good evening, curling fans. We're coming to you live from the Ardsley Curling Club studios in beautiful downtown or uptown Dobbs Ferry, New York, with the Cool Duck Bonspiel, our annual 5 and under event, just about to get underway here. We'll be featuring on Sheet B, we have the second event quarterfinal featuring Bucks County Team Kevin Brady versus Team Ardsley, Team Sablow. And over on Sheet A this evening, we have a fourth event semifinal. And over on Sheet C, we have a first event semifinal with Team Ardsley, Ardsley-Gerlach skipping that against Plainfield Team Cussen. Okay, welcome to the Ardsley Curling Club. This is the Sheet B. In the middle sheet is the B semifinal. Sheet A on the left is the D semifinal. And Sheet C on the right is your A semifinal. Thanks for joining us. Or as we're also calling them, first event, second event, and fourth event. Right, so we'll focus on Sheet B, which is the second event. This is Bucks County, the Brady rink, with Kevin Brady skip, Martha O'Connor vice, Bert Tyler at second, Pat O'Donnell as lead, against Ardsley-Sablow, with Joe Sablow as skip, Gudrun Sablow as vice, Tom Vespo as second, and Amy Constantino as lead. We do have a substitution on the Sablow rink tonight. Vicing is Tom Vespo is vicing, and throwing second is Scott Truskin. So it looks like we have plenty of guards up front. I guess the ice is a little slower than they thought. Now Joe's calling a come around. And they're banging this pretty hard. That's also going to be short. You know, the hard part is, probably the second end, this is going to be a lot faster, and they're going to have to adjust again. So if there's any new curlers out there, the hammer's a big deal here, and yellow has the hammer. So everything that they do wants to be geared for the yellow team to have the shot toward the middle of the house or the target area. So typically what happens is yellow wants to keep the middle clear of all of these guards, and red wants to gum it all up with guards. So red right now, I would say, has the advantage at the moment, because even though yellow is in the house, they have the middle covered with all of these guards. So this yellow stone is about half, more than half able to be seen. So it should be a fairly straightforward hit. And okay, so he was a little more curl than they thought, but they had a good result. And it looks from the camera overhead that yellow is still counting stone, but red has one in the house. So yellow obviously wants to guard this. They could draw in as a plan B, since they do have hammer. This is the second throw. Oh wait, this is the vice, Martha O'Connor's first throw. That's going to work out quite nice if they can get a little tap up here. And that's beautiful. So, and now red would have to make a double to get them both, which is a harder shot. But they're definitely counting stone. Red is still second stone. And Joe Sablow is definitely calling the double. And Tom Vespo is lining it up in the hat. You'll notice the skip for the other team is standing directly behind whomever's shooting so that he could see whether the thrower is hitting the right broom and how far it curls. Well, it looks like Tom must have missed a broom there because he was pretty far wide. Kevin has called for Martha to throw another guard, but again, if she's heavy, that's okay too. The tendency is to constantly focus on this side of the ice where all the action's happening, but it's important sometimes for the team to remember that there's a whole other side of the ice where advantages can be had. For example, Joe has a rock on the right-hand side of the sheet. He could promote at any time. Right now he's focused on getting these yellows to not be counting anymore. And it looks like he's going to call for a same shot for Tom again. Let's see if he hits the broom. Less weight on it this time, less fast. And it looks like he's going to go through yet again. He might tip the first stone. So, John, that's not the end of the world. We've at least gotten those two rocks apart.
Still the first end. Plenty of time left. Though I don't think he was really wanting to promote a Yellowstone to the top of to the middle of the 8-foot.
All right, so we're at skip stones already. Kevin is on his way down. And a guard would be very nice here, since they're already counting 2.
So Kevin Brady is an under 5 curler, was also on the winning team of our Big Apple Bonspiel last March. That was the first Big Apple Bonspiel that Ardsley had. We'll be having it again this coming March. Registration is open now online. We'll see what Kevin Brady does with his first rock, with his first skip rock.
Looks a little wide and heavy, John. I might not be able to cover everything. But it wouldn't be in the world if this one came in as well. Looks like he's definitely going to promote the counting stone.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to top up his own, and, well, not as much as expected, perhaps. Probably be nice to get that yellow stone a little bit behind the yellow that's up in the 8-foot.
Looks like what Joe's trying to do is hit the yellow stone that's closer to the center line first. Maybe he can get both of them out. Oh no, he's putting the broom all the way on the other side. I don't know if whatever he does here, he'd end up being counting stone, but he's playing a lot of curl here. If he wants to hit 2 of them out, he has to throw a heavier rock, which usually means the broom is a little closer to the stone.
Is he looking to hit that yellow that's on the 8-foot, just on the center line, or just to the just off the center line, come across the face of that and try to double them?
I think so. I think that's the call. If he makes this and he stays, then he'd probably still be second stone, and he's still got the tap up on the right side. So this is a big shot. That's a good delivery by Joe. Wide.
Well, don't think that accomplished what he wanted to exactly.
No, that middle stone, that counting stone now is completely buried. He can maybe rub the red one on the right-hand side up to capture the yellow, but that's a really hard shot. I think Joe's going to probably be playing defense from here on out. Yellow's looking really good here. Seems like both teams are sort of overthrowing the rock, throwing a little too heavy on the left-hand side of the ice. They're not getting the curl that they expect. That's why it's important to identify the right weight to throw. You don't normally want to just put the broom down and assume a regular takeout. You want to ask your skip what type of weight to throw. And maybe it's a little less on this side of the sheet.
So this first end might be a little bit of a reconnaissance end for both teams. They're playing on a fresh sheet. There was a scrape that was just done the game before this. So between first end ice, learning the ice, having fresh scrape, new pebble, probably both feeling it out a little bit.
It's never easy. It's almost luck in the first end who ends up scoring sometimes.
So Joe Sablow has the hammer now. Right now yellow is still sitting 2. So looks like Joe's going to have a hard time getting down to that shot rock at the top of the 4-foot. It's behind 4 guards up in the free guard zone, which are not free guards, but.
Well, John, do you think if he goes through that port between the yellow rock that's a guard rock and the red one on the center line, that he could maybe be second stone? Is that possible? If that's the case, then Joe gets away with only giving up 1, and that would be a win.
I don't know. Let's take a look and see if we can get the overhead camera up there.
Well, what you can't see on the camera is all of these guard rocks just out of range of the camera.
Yeah, so the one that's going to get in the way of doing anything, trying to run back that red, is going to be that yellow where Joe's feet are. Sort of right in line with that.
He's pulling a lot of ice here. It looks like he's going to try to tap the yellow into the red, maybe. A double raise.
And then the triple is always there. Right, Seth?
I think that's the call, John. I think he's going to try to raise the yellow into the red and have the red hit the yellow and be second stone. Boy, it's too bad you have to play these kinds of shots already in the first end. Sheet C is the A event. They've just finished their first end, and a lot of guards on that sheet too. So looks like both teams on that sheet are also getting used to a little bit of a slower ice. Here comes Joe's shot, and he is.
Looks like he's gonna clips that yellow guard.
He was a little narrow coming out, meaning he was a little right to the right of the broom. Didn't quite hit the broom where he wanted to. So that's 2 yellow for Brady. And now they give up the hammer to Joe Sablow's team. And they're going to want to play probably some guards again up front in front of the house. That yellow blurb you see is actually the bottom end of a huge cool duck blow up. What is that? Is that going in a pool or something?
Yeah, what exactly is that? Unfortunately, you can't see the entire duck. All you see is the little duck's bottom.
But he is cool. He's wearing sunglasses.
He is cool. It's a giant I think it's a giant inflatable pool toy. I don't know if it's hollow in the middle or if it's got a sitting area in the middle.
So Brady's first rock is off, and it looks like it's going to be a little deep, a little heavy. It wouldn't be the end of the world if she stopped in front of the tee. She's past that. Okay. So that first rock is a big deal because that sort of dictates how the rest of the end is going to go. And now Joe has the luxury of maybe drawing in with backing, meaning there's a rock behind the stone that he's about to throw, which could keep his rocks in play more likely, or he can play it as he normally would, and it looks like that's what he's doing with it's called a guard for Amy. And here it comes. And this is also heavy. So the ice is already speeding up, John, it looks like. And that is just out of the house, it looks like. So that's a really good guard, nice and tight. And now they're going to try to draw around it.
So there's our top view, and you can see that red guard is not quite biting. So Team Brady will have to wait a little bit before they can take that out of play.
Right. So if there's any new curlers out there, you cannot hit what's called a free guard until the second thrower is up. And this one didn't even make the hog line, so that's out of play. The hog line is that black line that's across the bottom of your screen. The rock has to go at least that far in order to count. So they call this the free guard zone. And now that the leads are throwing, they cannot take out a guard. It allows the game to progress with the likelihood of more rocks being in play, which makes it more interesting. So Amy's second stone is off. And it looks like this one is going to be on the other side. So Joe is set up pretty well here. He's got 2 guards that he can draw around. And now this is the Brady's second, Bert Tyler, is throwing his first stone, so now he can hit these guards if he wants to now. But they're not going to do that. They're opting to throw another rock up towards the top of the house. House being the target area. And that one is also slow, John. It looks like they're not quite adjusting to the ice yet. So he's given Sablow Rink some options here. He can draw behind into the house, and he's going to have cover behind the yellow rock that was just thrown and Amy's first red rock. Let's see if they can get in there. The rock is off, and it looks a little heavy, a little too much weight. Trying not to sweep it. Maybe they could have gotten a rub there off of the guard. But that's going to go all the way through to the back. That's unfortunate. That was a big miss.
Give you a couple quick updates on sheets A and C after one end. On sheet A, which is our fourth event semifinal, Team Bucks-Sheffer's team is up 1-0 over Ardsley-Perle's team. And in the first event semifinal on sheet C, we got to fix the font here. Ardsley-Gerlach's team is trailing Plainfield-Cussen's team by 1 for Plainfield.
All right, so that Cussen team looks pretty tough. He's certainly got his tough jacket on. Says Cussen on the back. Must be pretty good. That's your A event semifinal on sheet C. So Sablow's second has thrown his second stone, and this is a little less weight, and maybe it'll stop. And it does. And he is, well, that's close. I don't know who's the shot stone now. Too close to call. It may not matter because you're all the way behind the tee line. Typically, you want to have your rocks be in front of the target area, in front of the tee line, which is the middle line there. Because then you have an option to tap them back or what have you. If they're behind the tee line, chances are they're not going to figure into the final tally because other stones will be thrown in front of them and therefore will be closer to the middle of the house. It looks like Brady's calling for a draw through that same port. We'll see if they can get the weight right. This one looks wide. This one looks like he's going to maybe tap up the guard. And looking at a plan B here. And that one is going to be counting stone. That's a big part of skipping, is figuring out, as the rock is being thrown, what your next best option is in case the rock doesn't do what you were expecting it to do. So that was a good call by Brady. Sablow's looking for the takeout, but the way he's positioning the broom, he's not expecting Vespo, his vice, to throw a lot of weight. He wants the red rock to stay around after he hits the yellow rock. We'll see what happens. And they're yelling this thing to sweep hard. It looks like he's on the guard. And he's going to now tap up the red.
Might work out okay for him in this case.
Don't sweep it. Well, that's not bad. That's right behind his
That's
guard.
not bad. That does move him to almost. I don't think it's quite in the 4 foot. I don't think it's. No, it's not quite. It's not touching the 4 foot. That's like smack in the middle of the 8 foot. But he did clear out a little bit of space to get at that opposing stone that is straddling the 4 foot line.
So this is a big shot here. He needs to throw a pretty decent guard and make sure that he completely is in the way of the shot rock. This is risky.
That's his vice. That's Martha O'Connor.
Yeah, Martha's advice. This rock's got to curl a bunch.
Oh, it's way out there.
Oh boy. So this is a break for Joe. So he had that plan B shot before, and now he has a free line to hit out the shot rock and be sitting 2. Those little guards they're tough. Would have been nice if she was a little narrower, and even if she was heavier and went into the house, that would have been okay too. But the way that ended up, that's trouble for Brady's ring.
So it looks like Joe wants Tom to hit this Yellowstone on the inside and drive it out between to the left side so he doesn't jam on that red in the back. We can't tell from, oh, it looks like it's wide.
Looks like he's missed it. It's just not enough weight. You know, the weight call, John, is big. You know, I've noticed, you know, they'll put the broom down and not say how heavy to throw it. And the thrower is left to guess.
Well, I think in that case, he probably wanted him to throw it hard enough to take out that yellow stone.
Yeah. But he didn't say that, see. The communication is big. So now he's giving Brady another chance to save the end here and steal one. Just peeking over at sheet C while we have a minute. Skip's rocks are going on. Team Gerlach is throwing his first, and he's trying to hit a red stone behind cover. And he's thrown about a control. It's called a control weight shot, so not real heavy, but heavy enough. Now this is a hard little shot here. And he has just nipped the guard out of the way. Not the end of the world. The shot rock is now exposed. So let's see if Brady can make this ticklish little guard here.
And we will be keeping an eye on the action on sheet C. That's our first event semifinal this afternoon. And the winner of that game will go on to the final against Philadelphia Team Timms tomorrow at 1 p.m., where you'll be able to join us for more scintillating commentary at 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoon.
So this shot went a little deeper than they wanted, but now it's second shot.
It did. Kevin Brady drew down just behind the button.
Well, he's given Joe a real opportunity
Gives
here.
Joe's first skip rock opportunity to come down and sit on that.
Sitting
Let's
means
see,
just
you wanna
putting your
sit
rock
in.
right in front of the other stone. You don't want to hit this one out because then the next stone will just hit the red one out. So what he wants to do is it looks like he's calling to hit on the second shot rock on the left there.
It does look like he's, with that ice call, looks like he's going for the red that's to the left of
The yellow.
the left side yellow at the edge of the 4 foot.
So maybe he's trying to roll in so that he sits near the other yellow stone. Which makes sense. He's got hammer. He's always got to be thinking about the fact that he's got the last shot. So he has an advantage. The question is, can he throw the right weight? That's plenty. He's made a really good attempt. He is shot stone. He maybe should have swept that a little bit.
I think they might want to sweep that a little bit and get a little bit more of a roll.
He needed to move that over more toward the middle. The sweepers sort of gave up on that. They were standing away from the rock there at the end.
Yeah, I couldn't hear whether they were called off or whether they thought that was all there.
So sheet C just ended. I think Dan just gave up a big end. Oh, Dan got through. So Gerlach's rink is now 3-1 over red.
I think Gerlach has been shooting 97% for this tournament so far. No, I have no idea. I've been keeping track.
I just watched him not shoot 97%.
I just want Dan to be able to have a clip that he can save for posterity.
Right. Yeah, he can cut that what you just said, and then the part where I'm laughing, he can cut out.
Yeah, we'll cut that out. We might say that again with a little bit more dead air in between, so we get a nice clean clip for Dan for later.
That'll certainly help his ego, which is already inflated.
Oh, it actually looks like Kevin Brady just gave Joe Sablow shot rock.
Well, that's a big miss. They had an opportunity to hit and roll over to be second stone, so they were sitting first and second, but he missed the broom. He came out wide. It didn't curl enough, and now Joe has a chance for an easy 2, maybe even a 3 if he can somehow hit that yellow rock backwards a little bit, which I think Tom Vespo is looking at now. That's risky, though, because if he throws it hard to try to hit the red one out, he risks hitting his shot stone out as well.
Yeah, he's got to throw pretty much a perfect T-line draw here if he wants to. Well, I guess he can get top of the 4 foot also. He's got about a 2.5 foot margin to play with.
Yeah, looks like he's calling a draw here for sure. So he's already down 2. He could tie it up here. It's early. He doesn't have to be a hero yet. We'll save that for the later ends. So yellow has just scored 1 on sheet A to tie it up. And here comes the money shot from Joe on sheet B. That looks narrow.
I can't see which way it's going.
It's also heavy. He's going to throw that right through. He may actually knock his red one out. Yeah.
And he flashes by everything. Takes his red out in the back, which was no longer in contention unless he was able to get a few more of those Yellowstones out. But I think at this point, Joe will probably take the 1 and move on to the third end.
Right. So that's nerves more than anything. The last stone, it's nervous time. And the one thing you can't afford to do is throw it heavy. If you throw it lighter, at least you have your sweepers there to help you. But once you throw it that heavy, there's nothing anybody can do. So hopefully he'll pack that away in the back of his brain, and the next few ends he'll remember that shot and be able to adjust.
Moving into the third end, we have Bucks County team Kevin Brady up 2-1 over Ardsley team Sablow.
So Amy's first shot is, once again, really good weight, just a little off of center. She typically wants to have that be right on the center line to make it more difficult for Brady. She's definitely got her weight down. That's a big plus for a lead. looks like a corner guard that Brady's throwing. This is typical if you're throwing second in an end. You want to put up a guard off here to the left or the right and then try to draw behind it. The theory there being that you can have your second stone nicely guarded, and then at the end of the end, when you're ready to throw your rock for the counting stone, you could be counting 2 instead of 1. If you have the hammer, the goal is at least 2. If you get just 1, that's considered not a good end, because you only get one point and you lose the hammer. So clearly he knows this, and he's trying to get his second stone in play now.
And that corner guard did wind up sitting just behind the tee line on the outside of the 12-foot circle.
Well, here's the thing, John. Joe did not go for that corner guard. Even though it wasn't a guard, and he could have hit it. Instead, he tried to draw around his own guard. Could he have hit the?
Yeah, I wasn't sure what he was going for there. I guess he was asking Amy to draw in, and based on the handle there, looked like the ice could have been for either going and taking out that yellow rock. But based on the direction it was traveling, I think he was probably trying to draw to the right side.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he should have probably taken that yellow one out when he had a chance, because now they have an opportunity. Well, they're not taking it either, of throwing a guard to cover that yellow stone. Instead, they're going the other way to throw another corner guard, and they've come up short.
Well, looks like Pat throws a little short, hogs the stone.
Right, so they're going to be replaying this end, I think, in their minds.
So let's see if Joe does the same thing.
Looks like he's calling
for a draw. Before.
He's trying to draw. I'm still thinking he should take that yellow one out, but the other variable here that is tough is, when you're lead or you're second, typically lead is used to throwing guards or maybe a light draw, and for you to ask one shot to be a guard, really lightweight shot, and then your second shot to be a takeout, a more heavier shot, is tough. So that might have entered in his mind there. This one looks a little better. It's got to slow down. That's not bad. It's still open to be hit, but the weight was good, and the idea was to make that rock be covered behind the red stone. It's not quite doing that, and it's a little deep, which means it's behind the tee line, behind the bullseye.
This is Kevin Brady's second throwing now. This is Bert Tyler. Bert was telling me before the game that he took up curling after watching an Olympics event where a few years ago he thought Olympic players looked like, they could be curling, drinking beer, doing everything at the same time, and he figured, how hard could that be? He gave it a try.
Well, that wasn't bad, John. I mean, he was able to push the red one back. He is sitting wide open for a hit. But even now, I don't know if Joe wants to hit this one. I think he probably wants to come up a little short and make sure his rock is in the way. Remember, Joe has the hammer, so his job is to make sure that Joe does not have the hammer, Yellow has the hammer. So his job is to make sure that Yellow does not have an easy shot at the button or the target area for their last stone.
So if Scott Druskin here, Team Sablow's second, throws the same weight and hits the broom as he did before, this should sit right on that yellow.
This is not bad at all. Not bad at all. That's good. So now they're close to the middle, and they've got a yellow stone behind him, which is called backing, which means even if Brady hits that stone out of play, it may jam up against the yellow rock and still be in the target area. What did he call here? A lot of curl coming this way. There's a good 3-4 feet of curl, which they know the line. The stones are coming right where they expect them to be. This one was thrown a little light, but that actually works out quite nicely for Yellow.
So Brett Tyler's stone coming to rest just at the back of the button. And let's see what Joe does. He can try to push that yellow back behind his two red stones.
Yep, that looks like what he's doing. He's asking Vespo to throw a lot of weight, though. Oh, no, maybe not. Looks like he's moved the broom pretty far out. That's good. That means when Tom hits this yellow one, which he expects to do, his rock will be still in play. This looks pretty close. The sweepers are on it.
And a very nice shot by Tom Vespo.
Oh yeah, that's 100% right there.
Pushes that yellow between his two reds, between the Sablow redstones. Put all three redstones in scoring position now.
The beauty there, John, is even if they hit the redstone away, chances are it's going to still be in play because it's just going to wreck onto one of the stones behind it. So really, the Brady's at this point going forward just playing for one. This one looks a little narrow, John. Looks like she may hit it on the inside part of the rock, if at all. If they get it past the guard, she'll be second stone, which isn't terrible. And she is.
See how everything lines up. Take a look overhead. So Sablow is still shot rock at the top of the button. And from overhead, looks like Martha O'Connor's yellow rock for Team Brady is second stone just at the edge of the 4-foot.
Right. That was actually a pretty good miss by her. You want to miss well in this game, and she did. I just glanced over at sheet C. My spotter tells me it's 4-1 Gerlach, so he is really commanding this game. Hopefully he's just playing a takeout game and making red make some good shots here to get back into this. But that's a big end by Gerlach, and that could move the rest of the game forward in a much different direction. So Sablow's tried to throw a guard. He's left part of his shot stone exposed, maybe half of it, which gives Brady a chance to hit this one out, or at least behind the tee line. And it looks like Johnny's lining it up for a really light takeout, and hopefully she won't overthrow this, which is a common tendency. And it looks like she's thrown it too heavy. Here it comes. Oh, it's curling a lot. Oh, she just missed. Just missed.
So I missed Sablow's Vice's second shot there.
It was a guard.
Oh, he put up a guard?
Yeah. Just peeking over at sheet C, our A event, it looks like red's in the driver's seat. They're down to, I think, the last stone, and they're drawing for 2 is red. So this game could tighten right up. Gerlach with a big miss there. Flash to take out. Okay, so Joe's first stone looks like he's just trying to put something in the way. And John, I think if he does this, he's looking good to steal one in this end.
Brady does have the hammer, so Joe is going to try to keep him from taking out that red stone.
Here he comes. And over on sheet C, Red's shot is coming in short, so Red is only going to score 1. Big miss for Red. It's the Potomac Cousins rink there. So Gerlach's still in command, even though they had that big miss. And on sheet B, our B event semifinal, it looks like Sablow's throwing a really nice guard. Now what's Yellow going to do?
Well, Yellow's got a tough shot here. It's going to be hard to get into the 4-foot and outcount Sablow's redstone at the top of the button.
Do you think now it's time to play a little defense and just give Sablow 1 and make sure that he can't promote another one in? Well, it looks like he's going to draw in.
Yeah, from the ice, they're giving Kevin Brady. It looks like he's going to try for a draw. I don't know if it would make any sense for Kevin to try to split open the house or split open those guards a little bit. Well, that's sort of counting on Joe missing a guard.
Well, that's certainly what I would do. If he has got any chance of scoring this end, he's got to remove all of those guards, or at least 2 of them. Even if he removes one of them on either end, he's going to have a better chance of tapping that red one back, assuming Joe misses. You can't assume that he's going to miss, but the odds are better that he's going to score if he removes one of those guards. But we'll see what he does. There's an awful lot of curl on this side of the sheet. Looks like it's not coming back, John.
Looks like this is pretty light.
Yeah.
That's hanging out there.
Yeah, he's probably going to want to have that one back. He's probably going to want to think about whether he wanted to remove some of those guards. And now Joe is playing with house money here. He'd probably guard the guards.
Just guard the guards. I'm going to steal the 1 here for Sablow. Is going to look pretty good.
Yeah, puts him right back in it. The new game. So we're coming down to the end of the second or third. Sarah Pearl's lining up her shot on sheet A. It looks like Red is counting 1.
Sheet A, they didn't put up their second end score, but I believe it was 1 for Team Ardsley, Sarah Pearle.
So let's assume it's 1-1, and she's throwing her stone now.
I mean, we know that Sarah scored at least 1 there because Red has the hammer.
And that rock is going nowhere that she wanted it to. She really tossed that out wide. So looks like Red is going to get at least 1 on sheet A. Okay, sheet B, the Sablow rock is off. And looks like he's trying to plug up that hole that Brady was trying to shoot through, which is fine. And, well, that's coming right in there. Look at that, John. Just a little tick. Okay, he didn't hurt himself there, but he could have.
Damage. He potentially could have.
Again, it's always better to throw lighter when you're in the driver's seat. This is the second inning in a row where he's sent a real blaster down there. I still think Yellow is a dead duck. Pardon the pun.
Yeah, Yellow. If we look at the overhead here, Yellow has a. I guess Yellow can potentially. Well, let's see. Can I do that? Yellow can potentially.
He can run a red back into the other red and then split them.
He could. The red stone that Sablow just threw is ahead of the Yellow. I don't know if he'd be able to hit on the inside of that red that's on the left side of the 8-foot and then roll over. That would be a pretty risky shot. Fun to watch.
I don't know if he's got a chance here. He's got to do it.
I guess he can also run this Yellow back that he's standing in front of.
Well, that Yellow is really far away.
That's a long run back, and he'd get the angle just right.
I mean, look, it's not the end of the world. It's early.
There's no other red rocks in the house, so if he goes for that and misses, he's not going to lose a whole lot.
So on sheet A, red has indeed won that end. It's very tight. It's each team has scored 1 when they have hammer, so it is 2-1. Bucks County over Ardsley on sheet A. That is our D semifinal. And it looks like they're going to play that crazy yellow run back. Weirder things have happened, John. You can make this. I think he's going to, even if he does, he's going to jam on the one of the back yellows. All right, shots away. It's got to curl. It's not curling enough. You know, John, those shots are so hard because you haven't really been out there yet, and you're never really sure what kind of weight or what kind of line to throw. So that is 1 red. Sablow steals.
So after 3 ends, we're all tied up. And Bucks County keeps the hammer going into the 4th end. And my co-commentator has to leave for the evening. We'll bring in somebody hopefully more interesting. But in the meantime, some cool jazz. A little off key, sorry. And joining me in the broadcast studio, high atop Ardsley Curling Club Tower, is the incomparable Matt Gallegos.
Buenos ding dong diddly dias. And how many people do we have join our broadcast this evening?
We've got 21 people watching, and we've got our friend Seth at home commenting on my comments.
Well, glad to see you out there, Seth. The rest of our 20 viewers out there, we'd like to hear comments. Heckles is the way we prefer it. If you have a shout out to our viewers, let us know. We will heckle them as well. If there's anyone in the crowd, let us heckle them as well.
Seth didn't like my my departure heckling of Jeff.
Did he deserve it?
I don't know. I said that we were hopefully going to get somebody more interesting. So Matt, you have a lot to live up to now.
I absolutely do. Well, especially a few inches in height. He's a tall man, and as much as I try to live up to that, I might never reach those heights.
No, not unless you have another growth spurt.
I never know. You know, that's second or third puberty could happen at any point. I did get hairier as my life has gone on, so I might get taller as well.
Well, you get hairier in some places and less hairy in other places.
Yes, mostly ears I've found.
Ears is a good place. I've noticed the... yeah.
You've noticed my ears?
No.
Well, thank you for looking.
I've noticed that, yes, the ear hair grows. I think the hair that I've lost from the top of my head is just migrating south out of my ears.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Yes, you have the hairiest ankles in the club.
That's what they tell me.
Well, I'm here to confirm, folks. You're here to hear first. John Schuster has the hairiest ankles in the club. It's actually impressive. He no longer has to wear socks.
It is, but you know, it's really hard on the razor blades. I had to join the, one of those shave club things.
Yep, Dollar Shave Club.
Yeah,
this is a paid promotion for Dollar Shave Club, by the way.
This is an unpaid promotion for Dollar Shave Club.
Unpaid. Damn it.
Yeah.
I figure if we say it enough times, they might actually throw us some bones.
The leader in ankle hair shaving.
clearly the leader. They might have cornered the market.
I mean, they advertise the razors. They don't say where you have to use them.
That's
so
right.
It's pretty much open for any part of the body.
All right.
Oh, look, there's curling out on the ice.
Imagine that. So here on sheet A, we have the D semifinals. On sheet B, we have the B semifinals. And on sheet C, we have the A semifinals. Is that accurate?
That would be correct.
All right.
And we have close games on all 3 sheets.
All right. Who are you rooting for out there as our neutral commentator?
I'm rooting. I just want them to have fun.
I am biased as hell. So we have a couple teams out here. We have on sheet A. We'll go through that one. We have Ardsley-Perle versus Bucks teams. What is this? Sheffer? Sheffer.
I think that's Michelle Sheffer.
Sheffer. I am going to be rooting for Team Pearl here just because Sarah she's just the best. I'm nothing against Michelle here. But I just have more familiarity with both Sarah and basically.
Well, that's kind
Pascal.
of a biased comment. I mean, we don't know that. I mean, without knowing Michelle Sheffer, we don't know whether Sarah is the best. I mean, Michelle could be pretty good herself.
The rumor here is Michelle has been known to eat puppies. She's a renowned puppy eater. Yeah.
Well, that's unfortunate.
No, well, only for the puppies.
Oh, that's true.
All right, why don't we give an update on sheet B here?
Well, let's move over to sheet B. We don't actually, just for anybody who's listening out there, we don't know for sure that Michelle is a puppy eater.
We are fairly certain.
I think Matt has just started that rumor now.
Fairly certain about this one.
Okay.
Sheet B.
Sheet B, we have
Team Sablow from
Sablow.
Ardsley and versus Team Brady from Bucks County. This is the Bucks versus the Ducks match, the one everyone's been talking about all weekend.
Bucks versus Ducks.
Yes. We've been thinking about doing a friendly with the Bucks versus the Ducks. It's basically a duckalope, which is a duck with a duck with antlers. I think we can pull this off. It's called a duckalope. What do you think?
A duckalope. I was going to have duckalope for Thanksgiving. That's where you stuff a duck inside an antelope.
I thought it was when you stuck a duck inside an envelope. Anyways,
we'll have to think about that. Anyway, Sablow is without the hammer here, but he has 2 red rocks.
Yes, he does. He probably has 8 red. He has 8 red rocks. 2 are currently.
2 are counting in the colored area of the house.
That's right.
So we have 3 Ardsley teams out playing this evening.
So this will be a very, very neutral commentary from the.
So not saying that we're biased or anything, but we want Ardsley teams to win.
Yes, correct, sir.
In fact, the Cool Duck has become such a popular event this year, or this year and as in past years.
As in past years, sold out every single year.
That every single year.
Since we've been revitalized the Cool Duck.
So Matt Shiner revitalized the Cool Duck about 5 or 6 years ago, I believe.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
And Nick Beaton, who was now beyond his 5th year, has been organizing the Cool Duck for the last couple of years.
Fantastically.
But the Cool Duck has become so popular that this year, I believe they were pretty much like 90% sold out within about the first half hour of registration going active.
He was telling me.
They had people signing up. Registration became active at about 6 p.m. They had about a dozen sign-ups within about probably the first 15 minutes.
Well, that is fantastic.
And within the first week, they were completely sold out. And that's a full 24-team roster. They also limited the number of teams that could be fielded from each club to 3 teams.
Which, if you've ever been to a bonspiel where it's heavily influenced by one particular club, that is an amazing thing. Because you hate to go to a club, go to a bonspiel and run into the same team over and over and over again, whether it be all from the same club or an away club. It gets lopsided and it's just not fun, and it's discouraging to attend again. So I like the change of the format, and I think it'll help grow the club. And the fact that it sold out right away or very shortly after opening just shows that there's a strong interest in the diversity of the bonds.
That is very true. The five and under events tend to be quite popular. I know that the Dykes men's event usually sells out, and they're up in the 40-something number of teams.
Well,
the Childs.
There was once upon a time the Dykes didn't sold out. It's based on the availability of the sheets. They reached the point where they reached capacity. There's some clubs that said, we will not, anyone who wants to join in, they're welcome to join. And some clubs realize that's just not realistic. They can't start on a Tuesday for an event like this.
That's true.
So
have to have enough sheets to
it was a few years ago when we reached the 60-some clubs signing up for the Dykes. They're like, I don't know if we can handle this anymore. And a limit needed to happen.
So while we were jibber-jabbering over here, let's see, over on our first event, semifinal.
Oh, yeah, the one that matters.
Team Plainfield just made a very nice raise on their redstone that's on the center line to tap up a redstone sitting right on the Yellowstone that's sitting in the 4-foot.
That's a very interesting house there. It looks like he's looking to run double the two red stones. He would lose his own stone, but he's not too concerned about that because he has the two other yellow stones in play. So possibly firm up shot from here could leave him sitting two to three yellow stones. It's a difficult shot. Let's say at a higher difficulty call. Do you have the make or the miss on this? We can start putting up dollars on the make or miss.
Let's see. From this angle, I have to take a look out on the actual ice here. It doesn't help because I'm wearing the wrong eyeglasses.
Would you like to borrow mine?
Well, as we said earlier, and I'll have to tell Matt too, we have to leave some good dead air here. We know that Dan Gerlach has been shooting about 93% for the weekend.
Well, I've played against him, and he's never, or with him and against him, and he's never shot 93%. So if that's the case, fantastic,
Matt, you're supposed to leave dead air so we have a good clip that Dan can replay later.
Oh, lo siento. And let's see. Well, not the result he was hoping for.
Not the result, but not too bad. He did take a redstone out of play, although that redstone was probably the number 3 or 4 rock.
It didn't matter. That was the hammer shot. That was his go for the glory shot. He missed it, but not a bad result. Giving up one is never a problem. As long as you know you still have the hammer, if your team's playing well, and you know it's a 5 and under event, there's a lot of crazy ticks and misses, and you just don't play at the top level. So the game is wide open at this point. It's 4-3 after 4 ends. Dan knows he has the ability to build a big end based off of his results in the second end and in the earlier events. And there's our dead air. Now we can back up some bits there. All right, now we've finished our end number 4 with a score of 1 for sheet for the red team. That would be Team Cussen. We're going to rotate our commentary back to the other 2 sheets. Sheet A, we are currently looks about into the skip stones for.
So Sarah Pearl has the hammer here. So this is the last Bucks County skip rock from Michelle Sheffer. And over on sheet B, it looks like Joe Sablow is sliding on back.
It looks like
Sablow had a steal of 1, so I think this is Sablow's last shot. Kevin Brady has the hammer on sheet B.
Hey, walking in the door is Mr. Joe Panella. People like to call him Panella, but it's pronounced wrong. It's Panella.
We have an update about Michelle Sheffer, just as she's about to throw her stone. According to her husband, she does not eat puppies.
I don't believe that. I've witnessed a few puppy eatings while I've been here.
He says she eats kittens.
Oh, kittens.
So I think we got the We got the age of the animal right, but we were off by a species.
As someone who has been hospitalized from cat allergies more than once, I wholly approve of the kitten eating
Well,
cuisine.
if you're allergic to cats, you really should not be eating kittens.
Well, I don't subscribe to a kitten dietary.
I mean, all kitten diet just I mean, it's not good to have your diet with just one type of protein like that. You should really mix it up. Get a little roughage in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I usually mix my kitten up with beans to make sure I get more than one type of protein in there.
Okay, that's good.
All right.
You can also get the kitten substitute.
Yep.
The soy kitten substitute.
Kitten and a biscuit?
Yep.
Yeah, kitten and a biscuit's good. Well, thank you for the clarification. Apparently the rumors here were false, but only slightly. Only slightly. On sheet A, we are coming down to Skip Rock. We have the final shot coming up here for Team Pearl.
Over on sheet A, it does look like Michelle Sheffer's Bucks County team is sitting at least one red rock in the 8-foot.
We'll say she's sitting one kitten.
We shouldn't be bad-mouthing kittens on a Catter Day. Everybody knows that it's Catter Day, according to all the cute cat videos and photos on the internet. Is this coming as news to you, Matt? Don't you know Saturday is always Catter Day on the internet?
Fair enough.
Okay.
For me, that's usually a run and a bike day. But yeah. I as a rabbit owner, I can't subscribe to Catter Day. All right.
So we completely missed what happened on sheet B.
I'm sure it was glorious. I'm going to guess that Team Sablow scored.
That's probably a good guess, since Amy Constantino is now throwing her lead rock.
Amy is a dog person, by the way. She's not against bringing her dog to the club and has in times past. Ardsley has a little bit of a reputation being a dog-friendly place. We've seen more than one dog floating around here from time to time.
Yeah, they generally stay lower to the ground. I've usually seen them running on the ground.
And occasionally on the countertops, which is frowned upon in this establishment, but doesn't stop some people from doing it. Ooh, the call has been changed. We went from a draw on sheet A to a takeout through the port to sit 2. So the gamble here from Team Pearl to go for the draw, which she must not have been comfortable with her draw weight, or maybe the port she's just seen that line a few times, wasn't happy with it.
I'll give you a quick update here. It looks like Sablow picked up 2 in the 4th end.
All right.
For 4-2 over Bucks County Team Brady. And Brady keeps the hammer, coming back into the 5th end.
All right. Sarah lines up her shot. This is an all or nothing. Newman. Oh, looks a touch wide. At this point, she has an opportunity to run the other yellow back based on the sweeping call. And it's through the middle. All right, still a 1, not the worst thing down here. You're down 2 after 4 ends. All 4 sheets are very tight right now. So on sheet A, we're updating the score. We have Team Sheffer leading Team Pearl 4-1. On sheet B, we have Team Sablow leading Team Brady 4-2. And on sheet C, we have Team Gerlach leading Team Cussen 4-3. So 4s lead the day so far after 4 ends. The action right now seems to be coming down to Vice rocks on sheet C. All right, on sheet C, the Team Cussen, 2 of the members are part of a mixed group known as I believe it's the Cougars and the Cubs. So while they might not be kittens or puppies, there are cubs on the X.
Who are the Cougars on that team?
I know this.
I mean, I guess Dan and Derek must be the Cubs.
Of course.
Of course. Okay, we'll come back. We'll come back to that later when Matt.
I'm blank. After a few more beverages, my mind will reset itself, and my memory will return.
So on the middle sheet here, Brady's lead, Pat O'Connell.
Yeah.
Pat O'Donnell, excuse me.
That's right.
Trying to take out that red Ardsley stone through either narrow, heavy, or a little bit of both, and blew by that on the inside.
We've all been there. Weight isn't right. Maybe the line just doesn't work out for you. Flash the shot. As long as it's not the Skip's hammer shot, there's always room to play. Thank you for the update on the Cougars and the Cubs, Deb Martin and Charlotte Clark. And yes, I will get a fair bit of shit from my wife for forgetting that. We've played against them and hung out with them on many occasions. So, whoops. And they're some of the more fun teams to hang out with and curl against. So.
Okay, we're not sure what's something is delaying a game on sheet B here. I think they have missorted their yellow stones. A little confused over which stone they're trying to throw.
Crazy house.
It takes some advanced knowledge of the alphabet and of numbers to figure out how our stones are labeled. We have a sheet A, B, and C, and numbers 1 through 8 for the stones.
Well,
but that can be tricky for out-of-town people.
If you've ever been to Utica, there's the Satan stone, the 6th stone on sheet 6.
Oh, they numbered and lettered, or numbered and numbered?
Yeah. It's an evil sheet altogether. Ooh, nice hit and roll.
I thought we were doing the all-together thing.
Altogether now. All right. So, was there anything thrown behind the tee line through before Vice stones on sheet C? It's a bit of a nightmare out there. A lot of tap opportunities, but rough house to curl it to throw a stone late in the end. We have our first skip stone coming up for Team Cussen, and that's a rough draw.
So even though all 3 sheets have pretty close games here, Sheet C, the first event semifinal, is playing at a fair bit faster pace than the other 2 sheets. They're probably anxious to get to the finals tomorrow.
Well, I would say so. Dan's heart is beating 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Well, Dan does have hummingbird blood in him.
That's right. Well, he eats a lot of hummingbirds, is what you're saying?
I thought he was descended from hummingbirds.
Well, I'm not going to question his parentage, but
okay.
I only question people's dietary choice.
Okay, well, that's a good distinction to make.
Have you ever tried hummingbird?
I have not either. They are pretty fast little birds.
Yeah. Well, if you can once you catch them, not a lot of meat.
Not a lot of meat. Not very filling.
It's like trying to pull the bark off a twig. You're not getting a lot of meat off of that. It's not as satisfying as you really hoped it would be. You're looking at me like a man who's never eaten bark off a tree. I would recommend it. A little bit of sauce. It's delicious.
Well, the bark that I usually have off of trees is cinnamon.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Do you
And sometimes
pull your teeth on it and rip it right off, or do you go the easy way and shave it nicely on your?
I like a thin shaved.
A thin shave.
Yeah, thin
All
shave.
All right.
It's much better than cork. I've also had some cork. I've also chewed cork off of trees, but the cinnamon is much tastier.
Yeah, I've had a little bit of cork at the bottom of my wine. Every once in a while, you just take a drink and you end up chewing a little bit. It's not recommended. All right, there actually are 3 games going out there. We are down to Skips Rocks on sheet C, and I believe we have Skips Rocks as well on sheet B and C. So
looks like Team Gerlach over on sheet C has 2 stones, out-counting any closest Plainfield stones.
That seems accurate. I couldn't tell if he was trying for the draw or just the block out the tap up on that last stone. Knowing the Team Gerlach, I'm just guessing he came up light. He tends to be a bit more aggressive, doesn't throw the draw as much, seeing as he sees another stone counting as just as effective as a stone that's guarding. Which is different strategies. I'm not against it. I'm not for it. It's just different strategies.
Well, Brady has a couple of yellow stones nicely splitting the house now. One of them is pretty behind some pretty heavy red guards there.
Yep. Where do you like to put your stone here if you're Team Sablow? On sheet B we're referring to.
Well, let's see. Sablow.
He's elected to hit, but
is he hitting that?
Oh, absolutely. It's an inside-out hit.
Okay, so yeah, I guess I'd either hit that and roll to undercover behind my red guard on the center line. Although the hit and the roll is probably going to put him behind the tee line.
If you've missed it on sheet C, the tap was brilliantly placed, and just the weight just didn't quite get there. So he did manage to cut him down to 1 yellow.
Yeah, we don't have any overhead cameras to show you, but the overhead cameras in the warm room are showing Gerlach's Yellowstone at the straddling the 8-foot and the 12-foot line is still out counting the Plainfield stone that was just thrown.
Tap up line, the line call from the Vice was spot on. It was absolutely perfect. He just didn't have the weight on it to get to shot rock.
So Sablow gets that Yellowstone out of there, crossed a little bit, I think a little bit more than he wanted to cross over the face of that stone towards the end there. Not sure if the sweepers were called off or just couldn't hold the line as much as they'd like to get a roll to the inside.
It looked a little softer than I think he meant it to, just given the ice.
A little lighter.
Yeah. Now we just got a straight draw for Team Brady from Bucks County for his 2 points here.
Well, this is Kevin Brady's first shot.
No, it is. My mistake.
Sablow had the hammer, took one last end. Took a couple last end.
Yep. Sorry. My ability to count has been impaired by the alcohol served to me this evening.
Well, that and Brady's teammate hiding, cleverly standing in front of that Yellowstone, so we would miscommentate. Is that the right verb there? Miscommentate?
Miscommentate. And we have a hell of a shot.
Big shot there on sheet C.
Big Dan
takes out the Yellowstone, sitting 3 now. I think he takes 3.
I feel really bad for his new wife, Susan. We were lucky enough to attend their wedding in
do you
Jamaica.
Feel bad for his wife, Susan, on that shot, or just in general because she chose to marry Dan?
Well, it's on many sides of this dice here. There are so many reasons not to like Dan. But 2 of the reasons are after making that shot, there'll be no living with him. He's going to be talking about that for weeks. And 2, well, I love Dan, but I can't imagine marrying him. He's just not the kisser I expected him to be.
But he's so smooth shaven.
That is true. No one would ever say that about me.
No, you're like kissing a Brillo pad.
Yeah.
Or so I imagine.
Yeah, fair enough. All kidding aside, we love Dan. That was an excellent shot. Congratulations to Dan and Susan on their most recent nuptials.
And Dan is getting a bunch of shout-outs here on our live chat. And we have one request to bring back Jeff Casper to the broadcast booth, although Jeff has left for the evening.
Jeff has left the building, and I would agree. I'm sure he did a much better job. He did a taller job, that's for certain.
I think Jeff might have had slightly more focus on the games that were on the ice.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is the color commentary a bit too colorful?
Well, it depends whether people are looking for color commentary or whether they're looking for just commentary on the game.
Well, in a very white sport, I'm glad a Mexican can bring a little bit of color to the commentary.
Well, I couldn't say that, but...
No, you cannot.
I cannot, but Matt can say that about himself.
That's right. I'm the only one who can make racial jokes on this broadcast.
Well, only Mexican.
Only Mexican jokes. And that killed our... And everyone logged off. Okay, thank you, folks.
Sablow right. Still weighing his options here after Kevin Brady came down to split the house again and sit right on the edge of the 12-foot.
Team Brady has really played this end well. As soon as they saw their two stones split in the house, they just kept it as wide as they could. They've done an excellent job on manufacturing the deuce here. Unless Joe Sablow can bury a stone, probably either corner frozen on the yellow to the left side of your screen here, or tucked behind that stone. I don't know how he events a deuce or possibly a 3 if he doesn't get it buried.
Well, he's going for one of those two options. I guess we'll have to see what kind of weight he actually throws, whether he's going to tap back or sit on that yellow stone or slide behind it. But in either case, let's see, I mean, he's got a tough shot here to pretty much force Kevin Brady to draw to pick up his at least one.
Yeah. And on sheet A, we have coming down to the last two stones. Sarah Paul has just made her call and is getting ready to...
And they are calling for a hard sweeping on Sablow's stone. It looks like he's going to hit that red guard of his own and give Brady at least 2 right now. Kevin Brady still has his last shot rock or last skip rock to throw.
The line looked good for the call. Maybe he was just a pinch tight. The weight looked okay for a good draw. I'm just guessing he was a bit tight on the broom. All right, you got an open draw for 3. And everyone knows the open draw is one of the harder shots in curling. All you need to do is hit the paint.
Only have to hit the 12-foot.
Yeah, that big round thing on the other side of the ice is surprisingly difficult sometimes. If you're paying attention to sheet C, Team Gerlach is trying to keep the game as open, as empty as possible, trying to prevent too many guards, too many stones in play to build a large end. So anything that Team Cussen is putting in play, they're either tapping out or hitting out. The guards in there, they're hoping don't come into play.
So Kevin Brady shooting with plenty of ice to get by any red stones up in the guard there. Looked like he threw pretty good weight.
Team is sweeping.
They're sweeping there, but
at least from halfway down the sheet. Looks excellent, though.
Looks like it's Kevin is slapping his forehead. Let's see if they're going to get.
Come on, they got it. They got it.
Foot.
Sweep. Oh, no problem.
Not a problem there. Picks up 3 for Kevin Brady.
Skip had it the whole way.
Didn't need the sweepers at all.
Fantastic shot from Team Brady. It was a good team shot. Team swept it from over less than halfway up the sheet to pick up their 3 and take the lead in this game. Now up 5-4 on Team Sablow. Great shot from the skipper. Skip switching our focus on to sheet A. We only have a handful of stones left. Very nice guard put up. Honestly, I didn't see the call, so I'm assuming that she's shooting 100% on that shot. I actually don't know who threw that shot. I assume they threw 100% on that shot. All right, Team Perle is weighing her options. She's currently down to 2, but sitting at least one. It looks like only one from the overhead.
Sarah's sitting 1 from the overhead. Has a lot of stuff out in front there guarding that one yellow stone.
All right, what shot do you like here?
Let's see, who's throwing here?
This is Sarah Perle's.
This is Sarah's last shot.
Is this hammer?
Well, I only see one stone that's sitting in front of the hack, so
yeah, this would be the hammer.
This must be the hammer.
This would be the hammer shot. Okay, it's not pretty. Like I think
Sarah doesn't have. I guess she's got a shot.
She's drawing. If you can get full white, full white, middle of the white, which is there for the draw, you got your deuce.
You do have it from the overhead. That we don't have a camera on that overhead on sheet A. But there is a draw to full white. About if she gets right in the middle of 8 foot, she's got 2.
Yeah, we have the red on the top of the house touching the blue, and the red on the back of the house, which looks like it's touching blue, is not. It's about 1 to 2 inches inside of the white. So she needs full white, probably middle of the white, to be counting shot here.
And okay, good. Now Amy Constantino has moved out of the view of that shot that we're going to be watching on sheet A. And Scott Druskin has moved into the view.
Sarah Perle has improved remarkably over the last couple of years. As a Canadian, it's just in her blood, the curl. Wow, that shot got out in the weeds and just got away from her. That's not indicative of her curling skill. As a biased Ardsley-Perle. So.
But Sarah does pick up 1.
All right, a really tight game out there on sheet A. And the only game that's got away from us a little bit is sheet C. Team Cussen gets 2 or 3 in this, and we got another tight game. So we're on to Vice Stones on sheet C. That's a nice thing. The games are staggered enough that we can change our focus just a little bit here and there. Team Cussen is sitting 1, has no guard, but only a handful of stones left. They're able to split the house if they like. Looks like they're looking to put up a guard. Do you like the guard here?
Sure. I wasn't really listening to anything you were just saying right then. I was leaving you to it all by yourself while I was sort of catching up on some paperwork.
That's all right. How's the paperwork coming out?
The paperwork is going well. I was wondering who else is on Sarah's team here.
Sarah's team. I know her lead, Pascal.
Pascal Tomacek. Is that how he pronounces that?
Yeah, also a Canadian. He lives locally as well. I see him on the him, his wife, and his young daughter when I'm out running often.
So is this her 5th year? Is this her last year in the Cool Duck?
Ooh, 4th or 5th? I can't confirm.
Yeah, I think Pascal is also maybe 3 or 4.
Possibly, but this is he's only an associate this member. This is his 1st or 2nd time out on the ice this year.
Okay. And I'm not familiar with her other 2 players.
Well, she's in the past curled out of Brooklyn, so these might be some of her friends from Brooklyn. I can't confirm that. If anybody knows them, Gennaro Monaco and Jess Sokol Monaco. If anyone who happens to be watching.
So let's ask Rob. Rob seems to know the history of the Perle team.
All right, only a handful of stones left. A lot of hard sweeping through the port on sheet C. Loses his back stone, but wasn't really worried about that. That's kind of a tough break for Team Clausen. All right, after their previous stone, which we were talking over, the guard did not curl enough and left the open port for the takeout that we just saw Dan make. We see Team Cussen getting ready on sheet C to throw a draw. He's either drawing to the stone. I didn't see the exact call. He just threw down the broom and communicated quickly to his vice. He's either drawing directly to the stone or trying to get behind the guard. There's it doesn't show on our broadcast, but there's at least a full stone separation between those two. One is touching the center line, one is just barely touching the forefoot. So there is separation between them. Stone is away. Aggressive sweeping. Looks like they're playing a soft hit based off of this. Little soft hit and roll to the inside.
Not bad,
just a touch heavier than he was looking for.
Let's see, what is that overhead? I can't see it from over here.
It is clearly shot red. Looks to be open.
Yeah, I'm wondering how covered it is behind the red guard, about 2 feet forward of the house.
Just look at the broadcast. You can see the red stone that is the guard is just an inch or two off the center line, where the red stone in the house is maybe biting the forefoot. It's pretty close there. So there should be able to see 3/4, maybe half the stone out there. So even a control stone, a control weight shot could take it out. It's not the call that Dan is elected for. He's thinking he can draw onto there, freeze onto that shot, and prevent him from any chance of getting the getting the deuce. If the shot is made, freeze to the top of the stone, it really puts Team Cussen in a tough spot. If for whatever reason the stone is light or over curls, leaves maybe a soft takeout, and let's say it leaves comes up a bit light, he has a draw through the other port. Tougher draw, but the draw is there for the deuce. Also on sheet B, we're also down to skips rocks.
So on sheet B, Team Sablow just crashed on their guard, trying to take out one, or maybe he was hoping for both of those Team Brady stones that are counting. Split open the house or took out that guard, so it's wide open right now. Team Brady probably, let's see, what is he going? Is he going to draw to the forefoot on the other side of the house?
Yeah, looking to split the house. That way prevent any chance of Team Sablow from building an end there.
It looks pretty light. It looks like it's going to put up a guard in front of those yellow stones if they're lucky.
Not the worst result given the house that they're provided. Although it looks like it left the double. It's a tight double, but the double looks like it's still there.
Yeah, he does have the center wide open. And over on sheet A, great shot by Team Perle to come down to the top of the button.
Yeah, really given where the guards are there, it makes it really tough to get that yellow stone out. It is not the shot rock.
From the overhead shot in the warm room here, it looks like the red stone, Bucks-Sheffer, is still sitting shot rock.
All right, as you can see on sheet B, the takeout attempt on the double that we discussed just crashed the guard. It was really close. On sheet C, we have
Gerlach is
Team Gerlach's last shot. They're sweeping to try to get it to curl, which means Dan was just a pinch outside. So this shot here, not the worst result, because the way they're lined up, it means Team Cussen cannot directly take out the stone, can't hit nose on it, and to get his deuce, which means he has to draw or play a soft weight hit on the shot to avoid losing his own red stone and stay in the forefoot. So given the ice, I'm guessing he's drawing in for his deuce, which is a good call. Team Cussen has had a really nice draw weight. We've seen some of their previous ends.
So Sarah Perle's other two teammates, Jess and Gennaro, sounds like they curled together several times at Plainfield as a team.
At Plainfield, my mistake. Just given her history, I thought it might have been
Yeah, I would have thought Brooklyn also.
out of Brooklyn.
We do have a few Brooklyn teams playing here this weekend.
Right. Sarah has pearled. Sarah has pearled. Yeah, and Sarah has curled with several teams all over the place. She knows more people in the curling community than I do.
Well, Sarah curls up here at Ardsley.
Yep.
Sarah curls down in Brooklyn.
Correct.
Sounds like she curls out in Plainfield.
I don't believe that's accurate. But,
Does she not curl in Plainfield?
I don't believe so. Oh, and the Skips Rock here. What an excellent shot from the skipper.
Okay, they curled both at Plainfield and Brooklyn.
Oh, there you go. I believe that was enough for the two. We couldn't see the overhead. The crowd was standing right in the way of the overhead camera. My suspicion was that was 2 red on sheet C for Team Cussen, bringing the score to 7-5. Very reasonable score with after 6 ends. We will wait for the skippers to the vices to hang the score.
And Sablow throwing his first skip rock on sheet B, calling them to sweep hard, which might mean that Joe might be a little narrow.
This is Joe's second skip rock.
Is it his second skip rock?
Oh, I am mistaken. I thought that was his second. It looks like he has 2. You're right, because he has the hammer in this end.
Want to borrow my glasses?
If you would, thank you. All right. If there's any more requests for our glorious leader Casper to return, we'd like to hear them. Any heckles for our announcing crew, we want to hear those as well. Complaints. If you want to bask me in love, we'd also like to hear that too. I see that not happening, but you never know.
If you'd like to complain about the lack of Gallegos curlers out on the ice, we'll take those complaints, although I'm not sure we can do much about that.
No, not as much. I mean, we might be out there to help nip and pebble a little bit later, but that's probably going to be the limits of our contribution out on the ice.
So Kevin Brady putting up another stone, counting on top of the 12-foot.
Yeah.
Or edge of the 12-foot and 8-foot on the center line.
So at this point, he's forced Joe to make a double takeout for 1. Not exactly the easiest shot. Not the shot that most skips, including myself, would want to have to do for 1. If you're a little too narrow, a little too wide, you risk the jam or even the rollout. So. Joe is cool as ice. Let's see how he does here. Shot is away. It's a really solid attempt at that double. From the overhead, it's telling us that the stone rolled just a bit too much. Opens them up for a steal of 2. So unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on who you're rooting for, the score has now widened up, making a gap of 3. That is Team Brady from Bucks County now has an 8-4 lead. Is that correct? No, still a 2. I'm sorry.
2?
Still a 2. 7-4 lead over Team Sablow. All right, on sheet A, that was Sarah Pearl's first skip stone. She is currently sitting, looks like number 2 stone still. Oh, no, my mistake. The overhead is telling me there was a few tap-ups and a little couple change of positions there. Yellow is now shot rock in the full 4, and red is back 4 half white. Just threw up a guard trying to prevent any takeouts, but it was fairly high guard, which means a soft takeout, a hack, perhaps even a bumper weight takeout here would open up the red team to be sitting 2 after this shot. Given the ice, I'm guessing it's a back line to hack shot. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree.
Excellent.
And over on our first event semifinal on sheet C, Ardsley-Gerlach has 1 yellow stone. At the edge of the 12-foot circle, just behind the tee line, is the only counting stone right now. But Plainfield now has put 1 on the tee line in the 8-foot.
They did, but the stone happened to over-curl for them, leaving it wide open for the takeout. Back onto sheet A, the soft takeout weight shot that you called over-curled on them, might have been a bit tight on the ice, and crashed the guard. So Sarah's guard worked out for her. Initial call, looks like she's playing the down 2 stone. 2 in the house, making it really difficult for the red team Scheffer to score their deuce. Or even score their singles, really setting Team Pearl up for the steal.
And over on sheet C, Ardsley-Gerlach just taking everything out of there. Replace that red stone with a yellow stone.
With the hammer sitting 2 wide open, his risk shots here are those 2 guard stones. But they're fairly high, so even if you get something to manage to tuck behind those, soft weight takeout's still going to pick it out. Our ice here tends to be fairly curly, 4 to 5 feet of curl. On a draw shot and even a backline shot, you should get 3 to 4 foot of curl. So a soft takeout is going to pick something out. Well, the commentary's gotten way too curling-centric. We need to change this up a bit. Or as the game gets more towards the end, we need to focus a bit more on curling. One of the two.
I don't know. The games are getting close. They've changed their strategies a little bit here.
Where we're seeing a lot of stones in play on just about every sheet, minus team sheet C, which is basically keep it wide open. And as soon as I say that, I look at sheet B, and that is wide open as well. So the previous ends we've been watching were a lot of junk, a lot of stones, and yeah, that doesn't seem to be the case as we get a little bit further. As you see.
So this end, Brady looked like he was taking out anything that Sablow was putting in play. Sablow had a stone go through the house. Oh, and here over on sheet A, Ardsley-Perle, big shot there for sitting 2.
Sitting 2, but looks like she set herself up for the double for the deuce. It's not. I'm not. Oh, they're not even playing it.
Sarah does not have the hammer, so this was Sheffield's
Sheffer's last shot.
I'll get that. Sheffer.
You'll get
Sheffer's last shot.
Yeah. Just looking at it, if you, they're not looking at it. Maybe they're not seeing the shot. But if you played something soft, caught the inside of the stone, you get the double right there, and you get your deuce. If you're not comfortable with it, you're comfortable with the draw shot, you play the draw shot. You know you have the backing. All you have to do is make a slight contact on that yellow, and you have your 1. And considering your own, it'll put you up 2 here. It's a great spot. All right, joining us on the headphones here, we have the Joe Pinella, designer of the Badass Duck. We have a brand new pin that we're selling out of our club here to help us raise funds for our new curling club after, well, down the line. So we've put up a logo of the Badass Duck. Or we're
so here's what your
there it is.
Here's what our new pin looks like, and with a little scale measurement there to show you that it's 1.5 double tick marks wide.
That's right, 1.5 double tick marks.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Yeah,
That's the new duck pin that we're selling at the Ardsley Curling Club to raise money for the club.
Yeah, we're doing all we can to reach our goal here. We need money.
And this is the point where we beg for your money. So anybody wants to call in, we can give out Joe's personal cell phone, and
Exactly.
we'll take it.
Another for those of you listening, another way that you can help support Ardsley Curling Club, especially coming up this holiday season, is purchases that you make on Amazon. If you make them through the smile.amazon.com site, you can designate Ardsley Curling Club as a designated charity. This doesn't cost you anything, but every eligible purchase that you make on Amazon through that site, Amazon will donate a percentage of purchases to Ardsley Curling Club. And for more information on that, you can visit our website at www.ardsleycurling.com.
I'm glad you mentioned that, John, because I'm a big Amazon fan. I order almost everything from Amazon, and I did take advantage of the Amazon Smile account for Ardsley Curling Club. So what's going on here? What are we looking at?
We are curling today.
So we're in the sixth end here. Actually, Sheet A, Sarah Pearl, is starting her seventh end. They're all starting their seventh end. And we're being offered beer.
It looked like Dan Gerlach on Sheet C had it locked up, but his opponent came right back in the sixth. Looks like it's a 2-point difference there.
It is. Steve Agostino is Dan's vice.
And that's the A semis.
That's the A semifinal over on Sheet A. And this is Dan Gerlach, also known as Danger Lack, since he has been terrifying to the other teams this evening. Dan is not going to leave Plainfield with anything to try to tap up here. Nothing but yellow stones surrounding the house, in the house.
Yeah, it looks like he's lying too.
Dan has 2 stones counting. Dan has the hammer in this end after Plainfield scored 2 in the sixth end.
That's a pretty solid team there.
Plainfield can take out everything, though, so they're going to have to choose. Hope that Dan misses a shot here for Plainfield to pick up, to get one with a steal.
I've noticed, who's really been playing lights out is Tom Daly. Dan Gerlach's second.
Well, that entire Gerlach team has been playing great this weekend. And Team Sheffer on Sheet A picked up another 1 point in the sixth end. So they're now up 4-2 over Ardsley, Sarah Pearl's team.
So, Matt, let me take this opportunity to ask you, how was your curling experience in Norway?
Norway was fantastic. I was curling this last weekend in the Hedmarken Open. We ran into some friends in Iceland a few years ago. They said, hey, you like to travel. Well, why don't you come to Norway? We're like, that's a great idea. And then we ended up doing that. Stayed with some locals. Had an amazing time. If you ever have the opportunity, just reach out to me. We'll give you all the contacts of everyone we know. And it was an excellent experience. It's a different bonspiel. People in Norway are a little different than we are. They run things a little differently. But
I heard that
fantastic.
Norway does not broom stack. I thought that was written into the rules.
Well, it's not that they don't broom stack. It's that all the arenas, if it has sport involved with it, they're not allowed to serve alcohol.
Wow.
It's not every location, but the liquor license are so hard to come by that most of the arenas, whether it's what doesn't matter what the sport is, most places that have sport do not have alcohol served at it. So you can sit around, and so it's just not part of the experience there. So when we ran into the people in Norway, in Iceland the first time, they weren't aware of the broom stacking protocol.
Interesting.
So, yeah. Once again, it's just a different community where, don't get me wrong, we hung out with them at a bar or at a restaurant afterwards. They have no problem having a few drinks and hanging out and all night with us. But yeah, at the club, the broom stacking is a different experience.
Wow.
But very very welcoming. I would recommend going to Norway and curling as a head market open to anyone that was interested in it.
Hate to interrupt you guys, but
There's curling going on out there.
Plainfield over on sheet C here is giving Gerlach a tough shot to try to get.
The deuce.
Well, he's got his deuce with a draw, so Dan's got the draw, and it's hard to tell from the angle of our.
I'm saying
broadcast
from the overhead, I'm going to say
it looks like Dan threw that a little bit heavy,
which is not Dan's forte. If he's going to miss, it's going to be a touch light. So that's a surprise.
So Plainfield's last skip rock came to sit on the Gerlach's Yellowstone, just at the edge of the 8-foot.
So it looks
Dan
is
was still
up
sitting
3.
1, but couldn't get the 2 out of that end.
So after 7 ends, Team Gerlach, this is the A semifinals, by the way, just to confirm that, is up 3 points. It's currently 8-5 over Team Cussen. So Dan's looking probably just to throw this through the house. And Team Cussen's looking for all the guards they can get. One interesting thing about my recent curling experience, the 5-guard rule was in place, not a 4-guard rule. They are, just because a lot of their players at that event were curling at a competitive level, competitive is a relative term, but curling at events that were sanctioned by the World Curling Federation things down the line, so they wanted to use this as a practice event. So they introduced the 5-rock rule. It made it a little bit different, that's for certain. There was a lot more stones in play for more competitive games, that's for certain. If you haven't seen that, some of the World Curling Federation have introduced that aspect into...
How did you find that was it a big change in strategy or basically playing the same?
Well, it's when you're ahead, it changes the strategy, because initially after the first 4 stones, you're usually peeling everything out of there. So with that extra stone in place, well, that turns into 5, sometimes turns into 6 stones all of a sudden. So it turns into, all right, do we just play the peel and hope you can start making doubles? Or do you start, it becomes a chase for the 4-foot on a close game or game where someone needs a steal and needs all the stones in place. So there's a lot more stones in play than I would expect in the game that I call. So
I see. Speaking of stones in play, this is a perfect opportunity for me to discuss. I've recently started skipping the past 2 years in our men's competitive league, and this Wednesday I actually had an opportunity with Hammer to draw for an 8-ender.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I missed that. How'd that work out?
We took 6. It wasn't an easy shot.
So you tap them in?
I had 6 stones counting. My 7th stone was sitting just outside the 12-foot, about a foot outside, and I needed to angle raise it in and split the shooter in as well. And I unfortunately had 3 of my own stones in front of that stone that was outside the house. So I had to really hit the perfect angle and then spin the shooter in. So needless to say, it was a very, very difficult shot. And my teammates questioned why I was attempting to make such a difficult shot. And I explained to them, when you have a shot for 8, is it ever not difficult?
You go for it. right.
So we ran for it and came up short, but we still took 6.
Well, congratulations on your attempt. I've been fortunate enough to take 7, and I've been sitting 8 without the hammer before. We did not get that one, but just to have the opportunity there, that's I haven't been there yet. Who knows? We know people who've been second-year curlers who've scored it. There's someone here, Team Cussen, is wearing an 8-under patch on his jacket. So a little bit experience there from the skipper on Team Cussen on sheet C. On sheet B, while we were having the story about the 8-under or potential 8-under, we saw Team Sablow to a really nice draw behind guard for his 3. So we have a tie score after 7 ends. So there will not be extra curling unless they're blank for whatever reason on sheet B. Really tight game. And on sheet A, lining up her shot, Team Pearl has 2 stones left. Red team, Team Sheffer, has 1 stone left. Team Pearl is sitting 1, down 2 currently. She's trying to line up her shot. She's probably trying to draw behind guard to prevent team, probably top 4, top 8.
Team Gerlach on sheet C doing a good job of keeping the house clean.
I'm assuming based on the placement of the stones on sheet C, there was a tick shot that worked to brilliance.
Yeah.
If anyone's ever attempted those, they're very difficult. I think my percentage is in the low zeros. So. So, Joe, you looking forward to little duck pin bowling here in a few weeks?
Duck pin bowling?
What, you're going to skip the annual duck pin bowling while we're up?
Up in Norfolk.
In Norfolk.
Absolutely. Looking forward to that trip.
Apparently, Joe's too drunk usually and doesn't remember our regular trip to the duck pin bowling alley.
I'm afraid what this year is going to bring, being that we have a house that's literally 2 miles from the club.
And not a shower, we have a bucket with a hose.
But we are next door to Star Child, so
love that man. All right, Sarah Pearl's first stone. It's an excellent try. You got to sweep in, boys. Gotta. Come on. Keep it going, keep it going. That is for number 2.
Nice.
And they are sitting 2 now.
Sitting 2, both behind guard. It looks like from the camera angles, at least half buried for the stop that was just thrown.
And over on our sheet C, our first event semifinal, Gerlach has been taking everything that Plainfield has been putting in the house. They're taking that out. I think they are, depending on what happens to this stone, they are 1 stone away from winning this game. Run out of stones.
Yeah, it looks like it. Team Cussen is looking to freeze on the stone in play. Way too heavy for that
way
call.
Heavy and wide.
It's going through. There still are.
Okay, so they can still tie.
There are still 3 stones in play, which means freeze. Basically, a lot of freeze. Dan is hoping at this point to peel his own stone out, give him nothing to hide behind. At which point, Team Cussen has to go way to the wide and hopefully just bite the edge, partially hide behind one of those stones out there, probably to the left side of the screen. All right, Team Michelle Sheffer's last stone on sheet A. She's playing a draw down to the back stone, or at least back 4, trying to grab the 4-foot to be shot stone. Potentially, if she's heavy, she has a back stone to work with. She can draw to that, or just take it out and make Sarah draw for her too.
Looks like she was heavy there.
Looks like she was heavy and missed that completely.
All right, so Team Pearl down 2 has already sitting 2. Is going to draw now for her 3. I like throwing the stone on the same side that the team Schiffer just threw her stone. If you throw it to that side, you have your back in there. If for whatever reason you're a touch heavy, you have a little bit of space to hit that stone, push it back, and potentially still make the shot.
And Team Cussen has come up short on their rock, and they're shaking hands, and Dan Gerlach advances to the finals in our first event tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. We'll be broadcasting live from Ardsley Curling Club at 1 o'clock, where Dan Gerlach's Ardsley team will take on Philadelphia Tim's. You won't want to miss that one.
Yep.
Or that's Julie Tim, excuse me, not Tim's, Julie Tim.
Well, good luck to Julie and good luck to Dan, and congratulations to Dan for making it on, and good luck with Team Cussen going on into the, I'm not sure which event that is, the D, E, or F, probably the D event?
So Dan Cussen now moves to the D event.
And good luck in the D semis, I believe, yes? Is it date in the morning?
Actually, unfortunately for the Plainfield rink, they moved to the D event, the fourth event, and they play again tonight at 10:15 p.m.
Ouch. The ruckus you hear in the background is for the teams coming off on the semifinals, Team Gerlach and Team Cussen. And once again, we apologize for Susan to having to live with Dan after this. All right.
So later this evening, coming up afterwards, after this game, we won't have our commentary games, but we will be streaming our 8 p.m. game. Might be a little bit of delay getting that underway. But at 8 p.m., we have three third event teams. Over on Sheet A, we're going to have Brooklyn, Team Lorden, versus Pinelands Adamson. On Sheet B, at 8 p.m., we'll have Brooklyn Avalone versus Coastal Carolina Team Myers. And on C, we'll have Philadelphia Boyle against Schenectady Team Wall. And then later this evening, 10:15, we have, as we mentioned, Team Plainfield-Cussen drops to the fourth event. They'll be taking on the first round, which is a semifinal in the fourth event, Nutmeg Team Corelli at 10:15.
Anyone who's played any 5 and under curling knows Team Nutmeg is never an easy match for you. So I've had a fair bit of difficulties against them. Before we get too distracted, we have two fantastic matches still on our broadcast here. Both games are tied after 7 ends. We have Sheet B a little bit further along in the end. A fair bit of stones in play. We have Team Sablow. I'm not sure if he's looking to tap up here. He needs a steal. And Team Brady here is in excellent position. Has a nice guard in play and a stone touch in the button. Fantastic spot for him. He's probably looking to peel the guard out, maybe run double here, and we'll see. Now the stone is away. Based off of the hand gestures from our skipper here, it tends to be a touch wide. No, he's peeling it out. Oh,
just replaces one yellow with another yellow.
But improved the position. So it makes the, by making the shot the way he did, opened it up. So this team Brady now has to put up a solid guard, and opened up the button now. So from the draw from the other side, while you might not be able to see it, it looks like there's a draw there to get to the button from the right side of the screen. All right,
this shot looks a little wide.
Skipper called for a guard.
Not sure if it's going to curl over enough. That may give Sablow an opportunity to knock out that yellow.
Not only wide, but a bit late. On this shot, it's okay to be a little heavy on it. Because if you play it down to the red stone, let's say he was on broom. We know he was a touch wide. If you're on broom and you don't make the guard, you play it down to the red stone, and it makes it really hard for them to tap up or change the position of the play without playing takeouts and taking away their opportunities in the house.
So Joe Sablow going down to take his first skip rock. He's going to be
confidently,
and Tom Vespo holding the broom for him.
Oh, hat's off. Hat is off.
Hat is off. Joe means business.
Is off. Gripper's off too. That one's more beneficial.
I kind of expected the gripper would come off. The hat, you never know.
Joe likes to play hat off just for the aerodynamic. He doesn't like the drag that the hat gives him. Joe is one of the most aerodynamic curlers we have.
He is, but I don't see him playing in drag very often.
All right, you're up there with him though.
Sablow should make this shot. It's a basic open shot.
It's like a probably control down weight based on the broom he gave.
Line's looking pretty good.
Let's see, we're not hearing any frantic sweep calls.
All right, they called it on late.
It's curling a little.
Oh, looks like he's going to hit the red guard.
Well, he opened it up. Now let's see if they can put the perfect guard up.
So Brady has to put a guard back up in front there. So 5 and under curling, nothing is guaranteed.
That's the truth. As all veterans of 5 and under curling, both at Ardsley and not abroad, but outside of the club, we've all been on some weird games, that's for certain.
We are all veterans of, if we're playing more than 5 years, I think it's safe to say that we're all veterans of 5 and under curling.
That is not necessarily true. We have our junior curlers who've never participated in the 5 and under curling.
That's true. They haven't played in an adult 5 and under curling.
That's right.
Because they age out before they've played more than 5 years before they get to.
The glorious part was when you get a 5 and under curler who curled 3 years in juniors. And the coaching that they get in juniors is just ridiculous. And then they make it the 5 and under, and they're just worlds ahead of where we are.
Well, earlier before this game, I was talking to Team Brady, and Team Brady's second, Bert Tyler, said that he was looking to participate if he could find an over 70 5 and under event.
They exist in Canada.
Do they exist?
They do.
Okay,
5 and under, over 70.
He won an over 70 under 5.
Wow.
He started curling just a few years. He's under 5 years, but he's over 70. So he's looking for. I guess he's over 70, unless he's just looking for something.
And on top of that, he's a left-handed. He wants an only left-handed 5 and under over 70s.
Great shot on sheet A. By Sarah Pearl's team.
The double.
Red was lying too, and she doubled him out. Now yellow is lying.
See, the problem with that shot was I probably would have called the freeze there because you need to steal.
Shots, yeah.
And now it's just a hit game. And she needed to be able to build an end. Build stones where she could get the steal. And by playing the double, it was a fantastic shot, don't get me wrong. But now it leaves her a really difficult task to steal in here.
Well, the nice thing about 5 and under curling is anyone can miss an open shot.
Oh my
God.
Sablow just missed the big shot to give Brady the game on sheet B.
That's the game.
Wow.
Brady doesn't have to throw his skip rock.
Open takeout.
Last skip rock.
As you saw from the broom smash, Joe Sablow is one of the more mild-mannered curlers we have out there, but his emotions got to the best of him there. He was a little bit frustrated, and we've all been there. All you have to do is make the open takeout, and sometimes it just doesn't come. Congratulations to Team Brady, moving on in the B semifinals to the B final. Was that the quarters?
Actually, Team Brady from Bucks County moves on to the second event semifinals tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.
Oh, those poor bastards.
Those poor bastards. They're not as poor bastards as the team that they're playing.
Oh, they moved on to the 8 a.m. game?
No, it's not quite that bad. The team that they're playing is going to be playing tonight's 10:15 game.
They're the party game.
That's the party game. That's going to be Team Albany Romero versus Long Island Curling Club Team Wisbauer.
All right.
The winner of that game will go on to play Brady Bucks County at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Are there no 8 a.m. games tomorrow?
There are no 8 a.m. games.
What kind of horse crap is that? The part of it is you. I think there should be some suffering going on to the people. if you don't succeed, sometimes you have to play that 8 a.m. Sunday game. Joe, as a former teammate of mine, we've played those 8 a.m. Sunday games.
Those are rough games.
Because we don't go to sleep those Saturday nights before. But yeah.
So it looks like Team Sheffer missed their draw.
No, they threw a takeout on Team Pearl's stone that was in the house, and their takeout rolled out. Team Pearl was sitting a stone top of the house.
Two?
Yeah,
okay.
They were sitting one back of the 12. Oh, that one's gone. And so they must have doubled them out.
So now I'm assuming Sarah is looking to put something in the top of the house just to close it up a little bit for their draw.
Yeah, I don't know. Personally, I go top 12 here.
Yeah.
That way they can't hit it. It's forcing them to draw against 2. And everyone watching, that is Tim Klein's backside pebbling out there. Doing a fantastic job. Great job for our ice crew out there.
That is Tim Klein, who has been here all day long, pebbling the ice, scraping the ice, and generally preparing the ice for all these games. Tim has put in a tremendous amount of effort this weekend, keeping the ice up to shape for these 5 and under curlers.
Tim is one of our volunteers that spends more time here than I can imagine. He doesn't live close. He lives in Long Island. And at almost every bonspiel, he spends a remarkable amount of time here. And his commitment is almost unparalleled. There's a few members over here that it's just amazing the effort they're willing to put in. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
Timmy. So it looks like Sarah Pearl came up a little short, and she's giving Team Sheffer an opportunity to draw behind her guard.
I don't know that they need it. Oh, yeah, they do need to draw behind. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was missing the count once again due to people standing in the way. Once again, Pascal is too tall, blocking the shots out there. Joe is looking around frantically.
I have to fill out my raffle tickets. I forgot about that. The raffle is going to be taking place soon.
I think if you just give them the half the stub and you just pay attention to the numbers.
Okay. Thank you, Sharon.
So we've advised Joe to write down Sharon on the back of all of his tickets. That's that way we know when he wins.
Wow.
My wife Sharon.
A hog.
So interesting turn of events here.
Seems like no team wants to.
It looks like Michelle Sheffer.
Here.
Looks like Michelle Sheffer hogged a stone there. Barely came into play in the camera view here.
To be fair, when two sheets leave the ice at our club,
it does
and at most
down.
clubs, it definitely slows down. Now, granted, those teams just left a few minutes ago, so it shouldn't affect it that much, but it does slow down.
I think it might have been maybe it was the pebbling activity on the center sheet that was just too distracting. Watching our expert ice technicians at work.
It very well could have been. What does the peanut gallery think out there? Is there any other comments, or have they abandoned us to our awful commentary?
I don't know. I think they might have given up on us. We still have a bunch of people watching. To keep this in perspective, the team or the game on sheet A although that's the fourth event. They wound up in the fourth event by losing just one game in the first event, and they dropped down to the fourth event.
Oh, I've been there.
So they are in, they have more wins than some of the other teams that have already left the ice.
Well, and congratulations to all our teams thus far. We are very glad that everyone who is willing to participate has come out, and we hope for the continued success of this event. This is both Matt Shiner and Nick Beaton have done a great job.
To all the 5 and under teams out there listening, the wise advice of Walter Baggett: if you're going to go into a bonspiel and lose one game, lose the first game and then win the rest.
Well, that's wise on most events. This one doesn't necessarily work out. Just because you win the first one, you lose the second one, you still end up in the B, which is unique to this event, to a lot of events I've played in. I actually prefer that. If you lose one, you should drop down to the B. And
yeah. Too many times, if you go into a tournament winning your first 2, 3, or even 4, and then lose one, you just drop down into some obscure event. Whereas if you lose the first one and then win, even if you lose again, you're still up there.
We're speaking with a lot of experience, winning 3 and 4 before we lose. Those frickin' Canadian bonspiels we went to, losing in the semi.
So last stone from Michelle Sheffer on sheet A.
This is for the win.
She needs to count.
Pascal is still standing in the way of being able to see
Looks
where
like
Sarah
she's
Pearl's
on
stone.
the yellow.
No, it looks fine.
It's a tick.
It's fine.
It's a tick.
But it might still be okay.
No.
Oh, we have to have Pascal move out.
Oh. So
And what you can't see from the TV view here is that Sarah Pearle does come up victorious. She comes with 1 stone. Actually, it looks like Sarah might have come up with 2 stones. And well, hard to say whether that that stone at the top of the 12-foot out-counted, but definitely came up with 1 to win the game.
yeah, didn't matter.
So it looks like the force was with Sour Pearl tonight.
It usually is. We're not sure if it's light or dark-sided.
So when's the next draw?
The next draw, we have a little break here. It was supposed to start at 8, I believe.
Well, next draw starts at 8 o'clock. They are still preparing the ice.
Probably 8:15 we'll be kicking off here. We have to give Timmy, our expert iceman out there, a chance to clean the ice, prep the ice. And
well, this will give me an opportunity to fill out my raffle tickets. So.
All right. And I guess we're done. Bye, boys.
Do have a couple of events, if you're still watching, coming up later this season at Ardsley Curling Club. First, we have our McKay Douglas coming up in February. Registration for the McKay Douglas will be opening soon. This is our men's event, going on for 82 years now, February 22nd through the 25th. And then coming up in March, just about a month later, we have the second annual Big Apple Bonspiel. This is an open format. Any mixture of men and women are welcome to join, March 22nd through the 25th. Thanks for joining us. We'll be broadcasting the 8 p.m. and the 10:15 p.m. draws. We'll be going back to our non-commentary view. Hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. Join us again tomorrow at 1 o'clock p.m. for the exciting finals. Team Gerlach versus Philadelphia Julie Tim will be playing at 1 o'clock on Sheet B. Thanks and drive safely.
Thank you, everyone. See you next time.